Chase Elliott ended a long winless streak, which he did in double overtime at Texas Motor Speedway at the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400 on Sunday. It was his first win at 42 starts, which dated back to 2022. The win was a long time coming for the 2020 Cup champion, who has also won 6 most popular driver awards in his career. The driver of the 9 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet took advantage in 3 late race restarts. Those included 2 in overtime and got his first win at the 1.5-mile track in Fort Worth, Texas. It was also the first win for Elliott since October 2022, when he won at the Talladega Superspeedway during a playoff race that year. Here's Elliott talking about how it feels to end a 42-race winless streak and more, courtesy of FS1.
Oh, man, it couldn't feel any better. First off, thanks to everybody that came out today. You guys are unbelievable. Hooters has been a partner of ours for a number of years now, and it's been a dream of mine to pay respect to the late Alan Kulwicki and driving this car to a victory and being able to do a Polish victory lap, and just really crazy how things came full circle there in that moment. It was pretty emotional for me. Just he beat Dad back in the day, and here we are sharing his sponsor and having an opportunity to win today. So just man, couldn't be more grateful for this journey and kind of the path that hasn't always been fun, but certainly have enjoyed working with our guys. We've been just working really hard and really well together, and like I said, it hadn't always been fun, but we've enjoyed the fight together.
Elliott was also asked on how intense the track was, with all the slipping and sliding, and more, also courtesy of FS1.
Yeah, it was just crazy. That this place is just so so sketchy, and I haven't seen a replay of Denny and us. I don't really know. I didn't feel like I did anything super crazy there any more than anybody's ever done to me. Just had to run forward, and I want to look at it, but I didn't feel like I did anything to crash him. I think just the circumstances, but nonetheless, apologies to him if so. But couldn't be more proud of our team. Thanks to our partners at Napa and Chevrolet. Everybody at Hendrick Motorsports had a big week last week. Boss, thank you. Thank you for sticking with me, and just really, really proud of this, and appreciate all the folks back home that have stuck with me and helped us get back on track.
RFK Racing co-owner/driver Brad Keselowski finished a season best second in a race that ran for 3.5 hours. There was even a record 16 cautions in the race also. Here's Keselowski talking about his finish and more, also courtesy of FS1.
We didn't have a ton of speed. Honestly, I'm more frustrated than anything because I feel like we have a great team and we don't have the speed to go with it, and we're doing all we can do to overcome that. The driver in me is frustrated because I feel like these are races I'm good enough to win, and we don't have the speed to do it. And the owner is mad as hell because it's my fault for not making the cars faster. So, but still proud of the team that we have the pit stops and the strategy and the execution to put ourselves in position to get a finish we probably didn't deserve, but earned with kind of some never give up spirit in him.
On a restart with 2 laps to go in regulation, Elliott and Denny Hamlin were battling for the lead and were side by side when Hamlin's 11 Jogas Racing Toyota got loose and hit the wall. That incident sent the race into overtime. Trackhouse Racing's Ross Chastain started next to Elliott but wasn't able to get by him before the next caution came out just 1 lap into overtime. That caution forced another overtime as a result. During that overtime, Elliott passed Chastain again and took the white flag when Chastain was hit from behind by Elliott's Hendrick Motorsports teammate, William Byron, which officially ended the race. Chastain finished 32nd after leading 33 laps on the day. Hamlin led 37 laps and finished 30th, respectively. The race had a total of 23 lead changes amongst 13 drivers. 7 of them led double-digit laps. Byron, who's won 3 races this year, was third. He was followed by 23XI Racing's Tyler Reddick, who finished 4th, and Chastain's Trackhouse Racing teammate, Daniel Suarez, who finished 5th. There was also a number of different pit road strategies and pit road problems that played a factor late in the race. With 60 laps to go in the race, Reddick had a big lead of over 6 seconds. However, he had a slow pit stop when he had problems with the left rear tire, but Reddick still managed to bounce back with a top 5 finish. Martin Truex Jr. of Joe Gibbs Racing also had problems on pit road when he was leading at that point in the race. He had to make 2 pit stops when he had a loose wheel. Truex was able to finish 14th though. Kyle Larson also had to come back from problems. The driver of the 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet started from the pole for the 3rd straight race. He led a race-high 77 of the 276 laps early and won the first stage. He then had a right rear fall of his tire during a caution period. As a result of that incident, Larson was penalized 2 laps according to the rulebook and was trying to make that deficit up for most of the race after that. He did get back on the lead lap by the end of stage 2 and was making good progress when he was involved in an accident with 8 laps to go in the race. Despite all that, Larson still finished 21st and is 17 points ahead of Truex for the points lead. 2 of Larson's crew members were also suspended as a result of the wheel falling. The rest of the top 10 included Chase Briscoe, who was 6th, Austin Dillon finished 7th in his best outing of the season, Bubba Wallace was 8th, Dillon's Richard Childress Racing teammate Kyle Busch was 9th, and Spire Motorsports rookie Carson Hocevar finished 10th. 7-time Cup champion and Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson made his return to racing on Sunday, but spun out on lap 50 when he brought out the first caution of the race. He finished 29th. 50 laps later, Christopher Bell lost control of his 20 Toyota and hit the wall hard backwards. Alex Bowman and John Hunter Nemechek collided further back when Bowman was slowing down in order to avoid Bell. After a restart on lap 142, Ross Chastain and Michael McDowell were on the front row, and they were side by side through turn 4. That turn was where McDowell's race was over. His 34 front row Motorsports Ford got loose through the bumps in turn 4 and hit the safer barrier hard, left rear quarter first. That knocked McDowell out of the race. Other notable finishers included Joey Logano, who finished 11th, Ty Gibbs 13th, Chris Buescher 15th, Ryan Blaney 33rd, Josh Berry 36th, and Bowman 37th, respectively. Congratulations to Chase Elliott on finally getting back to victory lane. It was a long time coming for him, and I'm sure the celebration was crazy between him and his team, obviously, and the fans as well back at Dawsonville, and all of his fans in general were probably celebrating like crazy also. But I wouldn't be surprised if the celebration was like that, especially since it's a long time since Elliott has been last in victory lane before this one. And I've talked about Elliott on the channel before. I talked about his very first win in 2018 at Watkins Glen. And I also talked about his 3rd win that year as well at Kansas. And I'll leave those videos down in the description if you guys are interested. But he's done a lot since then, especially since he was one of the up-and-coming drivers back then. And now he's a veteran and a champion. So definitely pretty cool to see like how his career has turned out and all that. But definitely like, it wasn't that easy for him to get back to victory lane, especially the struggles he had last year, especially with the snowboarding incident in Colorado, especially, which was unfortunate, especially like that happened and all that. So like stuff like that happens. But what he shouldn't have done was what he did at the Coca-Cola 600 last May and all that, especially intentionally wrecking Denny Hamlin, especially since he knew that he had to win in order to be in the playoffs since he was so deep in points because of how far he was behind because of those races he missed because of the injury. And I lost respect for Elliott as a result of that. But definitely it's good to at least see him back in victory lane because it's good for the sport to see Elliott win, especially him being the most popular driver and all that. But I'm glad NASCAR did what they did with that suspension with Elliott, telling Elliott that just because he's the most popular driver and the Golden Boy doesn't mean what he did was wrong, was right and all that. So good out of NASCAR for them to suspend him, no matter how popular he was and all that. Especially what he did was wrong, and how that turned out and all that. And it shows you NASCAR has no preferences for any incident, doesn't matter how popular you are or anything like that. That was good out of NASCAR to do that. But definitely it was tough for Elliott not to make the playoffs and all that. And especially with those races that he missed, the ratings were a lot more down and all that. Especially because the most popular driver wasn't there. So they thought, oh, why watch? But definitely that hurt NASCAR, especially. So definitely Elliott being on the track and winning is always good for the sport, like I said. So definitely congratulations for him and all that, and to win and all that. So it was pretty cool that he got the win there at Texas, even though I'm not a fan of Texas, especially being another cookie-cutter mile-and-a-half track. I wouldn't be sad if that track got off the schedule, but I would not have even talked about it of this race had something significant not happened. Had it been like any other driver winning that usually wins, but because of how long it's been since Elliott won, figured I wanted to talk about it, especially since he's the most popular driver and all that. Especially, it was pretty cool that he also won with Hooters as well. Shout out to Elliott for mentioning Alan Kulwicki, the late great Alan Kulwicki as well, especially since that was what Kulwicki's sponsor was when he won the championship in 1992, especially. His final win came that year at Pocono that year in June, which was also the last time that Hooters won a race in NASCAR before Elliott had won at Texas on Sunday as well. So that was pretty cool that LA got the win for Hooters and all that, especially how long it's been since he did that. So that was cool that he shouted out Kulwicki and all that. But it was cool also that Elliott did the Polish victory lap in honor of Kulwicki, who started that when he first won in NASCAR as well. Kulwicki did. It was unfortunate what happened with Kulwicki. You know, he did win the championship that year in 1992. That was his final win at Pocono and all that. But it was unfortunate what happened the next year in 1993 when he was sadly passed away in a tragic plane crash on the way to the Bristol Motor Speedway, especially. And it was unfortunate how that all happened. It was sad and all that. But Kulwicki was honored and all that. And later he went into the Hall of Fame in 2019. So that was cool for, like I said, Elliott to do that in the Hooters Space Scheme, especially how long it had been since he won. So that was like something there, especially. But that'd be like how he said Elliott in his post-race interview at Mooresville, especially the race that William Byron won on their 40th anniversary. He came close to winning that race, especially on that restart, slipped back to third behind Kyle Larson. But Elliott like said in his post-race interview how his crew chief Alan Gustafson was calling like a good race and making good pit stops. They said they kept that going, that they would get their turn one day, and that day came at Texas with Elliott winning there. So that was definitely, like I said, a popular win, especially for Elliott. Especially to be able to, it's cool to have, like I said, he won with the Hooters Pace Scheme, especially being not far from where he's from, like in Atlanta and all that. Since Elliott's from Dawsonville and all that, so definitely, like I said, that was cool that he did that there, especially. And I'm sure like how Dawsonville, like definitely the pool room, the siren, that was definitely going crazy, especially how they hadn't done that in a while because Elliott had won a while, and they always did that with Elliott's wins as well as his father Bill's wins as well. So definitely cool that they did that, especially. But definitely this is a big win for Elliott, especially now like he hadn't won in so long, and this will give him more confidence, especially now that he's won, to be able to win more races later in the year, especially. And I expect him definitely to get back and win more frequently, especially now that he's got this win and all that. And definitely, like I said, it was a big deal for him to win and to be able to win at Texas and all that, to be able to end the winning streak, especially how, you know, like I said, he's the most popular driver and all that, and especially for him to do that and all that. But especially like now that he's won it, like I said, at the 40th anniversary, now only Alex Bowman has to be the one now to be able to complete like all four drivers for Hendrick to be able to win in their 40th anniversary year. So that would be cool if Bowman did that. So, but definitely if you look back his last, he was so close again, and I think he's gonna get closer at some point to like get the win. I think he's gonna break through. Especially how close he is to win. I can't believe Ford still hasn't won this year, especially, and all that. But with Talladega coming up, I definitely expect Ford to show up and definitely get their first win of the year, especially there. Especially how much success Ford has had there with Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, and Brad Keselowski in the past as well. So definitely, like, it's been tough like that. He hasn't been able to win since he joined RFK Racing in 2022. Still hasn't won since 2021. But I think his day is coming, especially because Keselowski's definitely getting closer and closer. And he's definitely made that program at RFK Racing much better now with Chris Buescher winning and all that. So definitely I expect Brad Keselowski to get a win sooner rather than later. So, but like I said, again, congratulations to Elliott on winning at Texas and all that. And let's see how he continues to progress from here. And like I said, he'll definitely be a factor now that he's won and being in the playoffs and all that as well. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like. And if you're brand new, subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.